On day 1, I spawned in as a mutant dragon. Whoa, I'm a dragon, but it looks like I'm a mutant one. I had spawned deep underground in a mine shaft, and I noticed I had an iron pickaxe equipped already. Looks like there's one thing to do: dig. I figured every good dragon needed a treasure hoard, and since I was a mutant dragon, I needed to find some uranium to fill my lair. Most dragons would prefer gold or silver, but uranium is perfect for me. As I was digging, I stumbled on some ore, but a bar guest showed up and attacked me. Wait, I'm just a kid. I was so afraid that I dropped my pickaxe as I ran for it. If I was a full-grown dragon, I could have handled him no problem. But because my mutation was still weak, the only way I could survive was by running. I'm just a hatchling for now, and I only have 4 hearts. I tried to make my way to the surface, but I was intercepted by another bar guest. Oh no, I guess there was more than one. I was boxed in on all sides with no escape.
Ho ho ho! I've got you! Now I can eat this dragon and absorb his mutagens to become unstoppable.
Well, this isn't good. I was dragged away and thrown into a cage. On day 2, the bar guest brought in another prisoner who had also planned on eating. At first, I thought he was the normal rooster, but when I looked again, I realized that he was a cockatrice.
Dinner! Meet the appetizer! We hope you two can get along.
When the bar guests left us alone together inside of the prison, the cockatrice ran around the cage in fear.
Ah! Don't eat me!
It's alright, I might be a little mutated, but I'm a dragon just like you. That means I'm a friend. Call me Zozo.
Oh, thank goodness! Another dragon! I thought I was gonna become a chicken dinner. My name's Rusty.
Nice to meet you. I bet if we work together, we could break out of this place.
Well, I do have the ability to chew through stone. All cockatrices do.
Perfect, let's do that. Rusty ate through the stone floor of the prison, and we were able to make our escape. But we were soon interrupted by a huge pit with lava at the bottom.
Oh no, we can't go any further.
Don't worry, Rusty. I've got abilities too. I had Rusty get on top of my back, and together we jumped out into the pit. I used my mutant wings to glide slowly towards the opposite side. And just like that, we had made it past the lava pit.
That was impressive, Zozo.
Thanks, Rusty. We stayed underground for a little while longer before Rusty dug us a path back to the surface. We decided to split up for now so that the bar guests would have to do the same to catch us. On day 3, I found myself inside of a strange forest that I didn't recognize. I wasn't sure if I was still in bar guest territory, so I wanted to lay low, but my hunger meter had other plans. I have to eat something, fast! I skulked around the woods and ambushed some cows for meat. It seemed like I was the only mutant animal around, so all the other ones were scared of me. I had to be extra careful if I wanted to hunt successfully. I also picked up some fruits and vegetables because dragons are omnivores. We'll eat anything. Just then, I noticed there was a bizarre creature approaching me.
Greetings.
Who are you?
What? You don't recognize a fellow mutant when you see one?
I'm a mutant dragon. What are you a mutant of?
I am half mutant crab and half mutant brain. Call me Dr. Invertebrain.
I don't get it, but that's okay. I'm Zozo.
You need to listen to me, Zozo. There are a lot of enemies after us mutants right now, and I've got some knowledge that can keep us safe.
How do I know I can trust you?
Because I'm a brain. It's my job to be smart and think of things, so you just leave that part to me. This way.
Then Dr. Invertebrain crab walked deeper into the forest. I wasn't sure if I should follow him, but I felt like I'd be in more danger if I didn't. On days 4 to 5, I caught up with Dr. Invertebrain, and he told me more about the enemies that were coming after mutants like me.
You've probably caught on a little bit, but there are creatures out there that think they can steal our mutant powers by eating us. We mutants can unlock special abilities that no one else has, and because we are so rare, the ones who want our powers will stop at nothing to capture and consume us.
That doesn't sound fun. I'm happy with being a mutant and having unique abilities, but being attacked because of it is going to make my life so much harder.
Mine too. I suggest you try to awaken your greater mutant powers as soon as you can. Those will help protect you against the enemies.
Thanks for the tip, Doc.
One more thing. Here are some stone tools to replace the pickaxe you lost. Another way to keep safe is to make a base where they can't get to you.
With the new set of stone tools that Dr. Invertebrain had given me in hand, I set off in search of a safe area to build my base. It had to be a place where I could keep a nice treasure hoard, as well as store all the food I had gathered up in the strange forest. I reached a small valley between 2 hills and decided that it would work. I began working on my base straight away, and it was coming together nicely. Eventually, I'll have a nice big lair where I can store all of my belongings. I had barely started when the same bar guest from before showed up again.
You won't escape this time, Zozo.
Suddenly, he attacked with full force, trying to capture me again. I drew my stone sword and tried to fight back, but he was too strong. That's when I remembered what Dr. Invertebrain said to me back in the forest. I have to unlock my greater mutant powers. I concentrated, and seconds later, I was able to use a breath weapon of green energy that blasted the Barghest back. It wasn't fire like you might expect for most dragons, but I wasn't most dragons. I was a mutant dragon, and the Barghest was done for. Suddenly, I felt my dragon powers tingling, and I started to get bigger. And whoa, I've gained 6 more hearts. I felt stronger than ever before. Maybe I could do this after all. On days 6 to 8, I left the base to go search for Rusty. I figured since the Barghest wouldn't be bothering me anymore, he would also want to know. I had a feeling that my problems as a mutant were far from over, but at least I could tell my fellow dragon friend that he was safe. I wonder what Invertebrain really meant about enemies. It couldn't have been just the Barghest, because they were pushovers once I activated my real powers. This thought stayed with me until I met up with Rusty next to the strange woods. Hey, Rusty!
Zozo!
I took care of those guys that were trying to eat us. We should be safe now.
That's great news, but you should still be careful, Zozo. I've heard that there's a bad guy on the loose who is trying to gain mutant powers the same way that those Barghests wanted to.
Sounds bad. I'll keep my eyes out. Thanks, Rusty. When I got back to my base, Dr. Invertebrain was waiting there. I told him that it was true that there was still a bad guy out there hunting mutants, and he agreed to tell me more.
I too know about this evil hunter of mutants. In fact, I once had to deal with him face to death. His name is Zed, and he is the Duke of Dragons.
The Duke of Dragons? You mean the ruler of dragonkind is after me, even though I'm a dragon?
It makes no difference to Duke Zed whether you are a dragon or not. As long as you are a mutant, he will try to steal your powers. From now on, you must be wary of every dragon you meet.
Did that also include Rusty? I was starting to get worried about our friendship. There has to be a way I can go live with other dragons, even though I've been mutated.
There is one way. If you find a way to pass your mutant powers onto someone else, then Zed would have no reason to come after you.
That might work. Do you have anyone in mind?
I just might, but in order to do it, we need a power transfer stone, which can only be found on Sunny Mountain.
In that case, I'm off to get the stone. On days 9 to 10, I made the trip out to Sunny Mountain to seek out the power transfer stone that Dr. Invertebrain had told me about. I had to find a way to become a normal dragon so I wouldn't have to worry about people trying to steal my mutant powers. The path up the mountain had no trees, so the sun was beating down directly on me. Now I know where the name comes from. Farther along, I noticed a ruined set of standing stones, and I thought that maybe that was where the power transfer stone was. I went over to investigate, and a Geonock appeared.
So, another mutant has come to claim the power transfer stone. Dream on! I am the stone's protector, and you should turn back now.
No way! Getting that stone is super important to me. If I have to fight you for it, then consider this battle begun. I unleashed my breath attack, but the Geonock seemed resilient to my mutant powers. I realized I would have to use my sword for this, but it was stone against stone, so it wasn't doing anything either.
Will you not turn back, even though it is futile?
Of course not. I will never give up.
Then perish.
You first.
Right when I needed help the most, a sunbird swooped down and gave the Geonock the hot foot with its fire breath. The Geonock's outer layer started to weaken, so I hit him with my sword until the battle was over. I went to retrieve the power transfer stone from the standing rock formation, and then I thanked the sunbird that had helped me. We flew down the mountain together, stopping at the bottom of it for a quick chat. Thanks for the help. I'm Zozo.
I am Tibernius, the winged warrior, and I am on a quest to find the next Duke of the Dragons. I saw that you were a dragon in danger, so I dove in to rescue you.
That was very nice of you, but I've got nothing to do with any Duke of Dragons. That's by choice. Anyway, I need to get this power transfer stone back to an ally of mine. Don't tell anyone I was here. On days 11 to 12, I found that Dr. Invertebrain was still living at my base, which was what I was hoping for since I planned to give him the power transfer stone. I retrieved the stone, Doc.
Ah, perfect. My plan is going perfectly. By that I mean our plan is going perfectly.
I didn't think it was that funny. But anyway, what else do I need to do in order to transfer my powers away?
Eager to get to the next phase, are we? Well then, pay attention, because this is where things are really going to get challenging.
I'm listening.
You must place the power transfer stone within the mouth of a magic idol that sits on a nearby island. I'll show you how to get there.
Excellent! I can't wait to be free of my powers.
I can't wait either.
I still didn't know what Dr. Invertebrain was laughing about, but I figured he was just remembering an inside joke. On my way to Idle Island, I stopped by an open cave to dig for iron ore. A strong suit of armor should protect me in case anyone working for Duke Zed tries to capture me. Unfortunately, the cave was full of hyenas, so I needed to do multiple sweeps with my green energy breath weapon to clear them out. Once I had cleared the cave of the hyenas, I collected the iron ore. Then I went back outside and flew off towards Idle Island. On days 13 to 15, I came ashore on the island and saw the idol waiting for me to place the power transfer stone in its mouth. There were signs all over the place with messages that said, "Here, Zozo," and "Transfer your power here." I want to feel welcome, but I'm starting to just feel creeped out instead. Was Dr. Invertebrain not telling me something about the idol? Maybe he had been planning to do something with the power transfer stone for longer than I thought. But then again, he'd still have to have known my name, and we didn't meet that long ago. This was getting too weird. So instead of placing the stone inside the idol, I jumped back into the air and flew back towards my base. I needed answers about all of this, and I was convinced that only the good doctor could give them to me. On days 16 to 19, I was surprised to run into Dr. Invertebrain in the field while I was still on my way to the base. He noticed that I still had the power transfer stone in my possession.
Why didn't you put the stone in the idol's mouth like I asked?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to not listen to you, but that place was really weird, and I have some questions about what has been going on.
Questions for me? Well, I am a brain, so I should be smart enough to give some good answers.
First, why hasn't Zed sent any minions after me? You said he would, but I haven't seen any signs of it. Second, why did it seem like you had been to that island and knew my name before you met me?
You should ask better questions, Zozo. Those will get us nowhere. Just leave the rest of the thinking to me, will you?
All right, but I'm still confused. When I made it back to the base, I was startled to see Tibernius the Sunbird there waiting for me.
It is you! You're the one I've been looking for! We need your help quickly! The Duchy of Dragons is under attack!
The Duchy of Dragons? Isn't that the place ruled by Duke Zed of the Dragons? Wait, did you say I was…
There's no time! You're the only one who can stop that madman Dr. Invertebrain!
What? It couldn't be true. I followed Tibernius, and the two of us hurried to the Duchy of Dragons. Once we got there, I saw that it was being attacked by Dr. Invertebrain. He was using mutant powers to destroy the buildings. Invertebrain, stop this! What are you doing?
I tried to do this the nice way, but you chose to defy me. Now, because of you, your people will suffer.
I don't understand. You said the dragons wanted my powers.
No, you fool! I want your powers so I can become the most powerful mutant who ever lived, and I would have had them too if you had just placed the stone in the idol.
I'm not doing that. I'm not listening to you anymore. You're going down. I charged in and prepared to use my powers, but he hit me with a mutant energy attack before I could. Due to the power of it, I was knocked out cold. On days 20 to 22, I woke up and saw that the Duchy of Dragons had been completely destroyed. There was no sign of Dr. Invertebrain anywhere. What was even worse was that the power transfer stone was gone from my inventory. He must have stolen it from me after I was knocked out.
You're awake! I guess Invertebrain still needs you alive.
Tibernius, I'm so sorry. I was too weak to stop him.
Don't worry, Zozo. I've gathered the remaining dragons and told them that you could make it up to them by giving them a new home in your base.
You did? Well, how can I say no? It seems like everyone got in a whole bunch of trouble because of me.
Nothing of the sort. There is still hope because of you.
The faces of many dragons looked at me, and they didn't seem upset. It was like they saw me as one of their own, and not a mutant. I promise, I'll do everything I can to keep you safe at my base, or my name isn't Zozo, the Mutant Dragon. I spent the rest of the days gathering materials and expanding the base outward so it looked like the new Duchy of Dragons. I added a bunch of houses for the dragons and a bridge to connect them all. I wanted to make it feel like the home they lost and provide a safe space for them. On days 23 to 26, I was searching a nearby mountain for some gold that normal dragons really like and found a hidden canyon with loads of it. The canyon seemed to be crawling with aggressive machas, which seemed to be very territorial and seems like they could deal a lot of damage. I better go out of my way to avoid a fight. I went deeper into the canyon undetected, but it turned out that some of the others weren't so lucky. I saw a zombie getting attacked by the Makas. He looked like a mutant too, just like me, and was punching them with his green fists. Hey, fellow mutant, we should work together. I can help you.
No way! You're just gonna try and steal my powers, aren't you? Just like Invertebrain.
I promise I won't. He tried to do that to me too.
It sounds like we've got a common enemy then. Okay, I'll accept a hand.
I jumped in to help and used my energy blast to scatter the Makas so the mutant zombies could take them out one by one with his punches. Together, we defeated all of them with ease.
Thanks for the assist. I had almost given up on my fellow mutant. Here's a tip about unlocking your powers as a reward.
The mutant zombie showed me how to focus my energy into my limbs like he did. Thanks to his demonstration, I could jump super high with an energy-powered wing boost. Thank you. I'll make sure to put this power to good use.
If you see Dr. Invertebrain, give him the old one too for me.
On days 27 to 31, I found some sheep wandering through a burnt plain.
Meh. So hungry.
What happened to all the grass here, guys?
There was some kind of evil energy blast, and all the grass got burned up. We used to graze here all the time, but now it's gone.
Don't worry, the grass is always greener on the other side of the valley. And by that I mean, my base has some grass you could eat.
Meh. Thank you.
The sheep and I returned to my base. I then built them an enclosure around a grassy field where they could live and eat peacefully. After that, I went to see Tibernius and noticed he had created a training area where everyone could practice sword skills.
We need to be ready in case of another attack, especially because Duke Zed and his noble guard have gone missing.
That's right, I almost forgot. There are still some dragons that fled the city during Dr. Invertebrain's attack. We've got to make sure to find them.
I'm sure they'll turn up, but for now, we should prepare for Invertebrain's next move.
Meanwhile, unknown to myself and Tibernius, the evil doctor had been growing more powerful. He had captured that mutant zombie I had met in the hidden canyon and was using the power transfer stone and the island idol to drain the zombie's powers and add them to his own.
You'll never get away with this, Invertebrain.
Oh, but I already have. And I'll keep transferring the powers of every other mutant to myself until I'm all powerful.
On days 32 to 35, I was mining for more materials when I encountered a group of fire dragons. Are you refugees from the duchy?
It's one of them mutants that destroyed the duchy. Get him!
Uh-oh, they must think I'm working with Invertebrain. I used my mutant wings and glided to the other side of the group of dragons. I didn't want to attack them, so I tried a diplomatic approach. I promise that I'm the good guy.
Don't lie to us, dragons. We've been deceived before.
Just when I thought nothing could work, a bigger dragon appeared who looked like he was their leader.
Stop this at once. Do not attack Zozo anymore. He has fought bravely to protect his fellow dragons, as I knew he would.
You know my name?
I know a great many things about you, young dragon, for I am Duke Zed, the Duke of all dragons.
You're Duke Zed? I was told you would try to steal my powers, but I'm guessing that was another one of Dr. Invertebrain's lies.
Indeed it was. He tried to turn us against each other, but the truth is that we share a strong bond.
A strong bond? What did he mean by that? I had never met this dragon before in my life, but somehow what he was saying felt like it was true in my heart. I had to know more. Duke Zed, please return to my base and tell me everything. I need to know about Invertebrain and why I've always had these mutant powers.
No, I cannot. It is too risky for myself and the rest of these dragons to be out in the open, but if you need my help, you can find me in the underground.
Well, that's good enough for me. For now, I'm going to let Tibernius know that you're okay, but I'll be back soon to hear more of the truth.
I will be looking forward to it, young dragon.
On days 36 to 39, I decided to get prepared for the next battle by getting my armor to iron. I crafted an entire set from the iron I had collected a while ago. Not too shabby if I do say so myself. I also wanted to upgrade my tools. Since I had access to several caves with iron ore deposits in them, I started from there and kept digging until I had enough iron. Wow, these are some awesome mines. I should look to see if I can find even more cool stuff. Further down in the cave, I found a treasure chest, and inside was a unique weapon, an enchanted crossbow that could fire endirophage rockets at enemies. These rockets are made of parts that you can only get in the end. The explosions caused by these rockets could be useful later down the line. I went back to the base in order to show Tibernius the cool weapon that I found. When I arrived, there was another guest inside of the training area, a warped toad. Tibernius was standing by, so I knew it was okay.
Hello, I'm Warpo. It is riveting to meet you.
I'm Zozo.
Oh, I'm well aware. Every mutant has heard of you now. You're the mutant dragon who defied Dr. Invertebrain.
You're a mutant too, Warpo?
Why, yes, I am. There's somebody I need to take you to see. It's an old friend who has some important news about the battle between good mutants and evil mutants.
You should go, Zozo. Don't worry about the base. I will defend it for you. Thanks, Tibernius. That makes me feel a lot more secure.
It'll be a few days' journey, but I promise you that what they have to say is worth the journey.
All right then, Warpo. Let's get a move on. On days 40 to 43, I traveled with Warpo until we arrived at the home of the person he wanted me to talk to. It turned out to be none other than the mutant zombie that I had helped before. He was now just a normal zombie because Dr. Invertebrain had drained his mutant powers. He told me everything about the power transfer stone and the island's idol. So that's what would have happened to me if I had gone through with it. Glad I avoided that.
Us too. You're the only mutant whose powers come close to matching Dr. Invertebrain's. That's why he wants your powers most of all.
That might be true, but how can I become more powerful than him? The last time we fought, he knocked me out easily.
That's why we're here. I managed to steal back the power transfer stone while Invertebrain wasn't looking. Now we can transfer Warpo's mutant powers to you and make you stronger.
Are you okay with that, Warpo?
That I am. Dr. Invertebrain must be stopped, and I'm willing to give up my own powers if it means you can take him down.
Then let's get to it.
That's what I like to hear. Go ahead and place your hands on the stone.
Just then, a giant crab burst into the house and attacked us.
Hand over my brother's power transfer stone, or I'll put the squeeze on you with my claws.
Your brother? Do you mean Dr. Invertebrain?
Yeah, I'm Irma, his non-mutant crab brother. Even though my brother is evil and a mutant, I'm as loyal as they come.
So am I, you crusty crab. Zozo, Warpo, I'll hold this guy off. Make the transfer, and hurry!
And with that, the zombie who used to be a mutant pulled out a sword and started fighting with Irma. I turned to Warpo, and the two of us used the power transfer stone to give his powers to me.
It worked! Now run for it!
We all split up, and Irma didn't know which one of us had the stone, so he kept rampaging and wrecking the zombie's house. I was the one who had it though, and as I retreated back to my base, I could feel the strength that Warpo had given me running through my veins. I could tell I was closer than before to being strong enough to defeat Dr. Invertebrain. On days 44 to 49, Zed showed up at the base with the remaining dragons. I did my best to make sure they felt welcome. After that, I made sure no one was coming towards the base by checking the surrounding area. Once I knew everyone was safe, I met with Zed alone. I thought you were going to stay in hiding.
I was, but learning of a certain powerful item changed all of that. I think that my subjects and I have discovered the key to defeating Invertebrain.
Go on.
We have reason to believe that there is a way to build an idol just like Invertebrain's. An idol that can amplify the power transfer stone and allow you to take his mutant powers before he takes yours.
You mean I could defeat him by giving him a taste of his own power-stealing medicine?
Exactly, Zozo. But it will require you to build the idol in a particular shape before you switch the power on.
Whatever must be done, I'll do it. Thanks, Zed. You're actually a really cool guy. I began to build the specific structure needed to house the idol. It was important that I get this right, because I was up against one of the most powerful brains in the world. When it was prepared, I left the base in search of the rest of the idol. On days 50 to 53, I went to a village that Zed said would be able to give me information about building the idol. It was an island village of crafters who specialized in building powerful idols like the one I found on the island so many days ago. They might have accidentally helped Invertebrain in the past, but today they would be able to help me. I asked the village blacksmith for information, and he turned out to be just as willing to help as I hoped.
The secret to the island's power is in the crystal eyes. The more pure the crystal is, the more it can amplify the energy of the stone that is placed inside of it.
I see. Do you know where I can find these crystal eyes?
They are extremely rare. Almost as rare in this world as, well, mutants are. I can't tell you anything more concrete than that. Sorry.
That's okay. Thank you anyway. I left the idol crafter's village and decided to return to base. I was going back the way I came when I saw a mutant spider pig being attacked by a Pterodon, a fellow mutant. Hey, do you need help? Before I even managed to get close, the spider pig used a blast of mutant green energy to take down the Pterodon. Oh wow, it looks like you handled it just fine. Your powers are really strong. Do you want to lend them to me? The spider pig just shook its head and left. It didn't seem interested in sharing its power. So that's how it is. Every mutant for himself, I suppose. On days 54 to 57, I was still on my way home when Irma ambushed me out of the blue.
You thought you could escape, Zozo? Give me the power transfer stone.
Never, Irma. You'll just give it to your brother, Dr. Invertebrain, and he'll use it to take my powers away.
That is the plan.
His pincer attack hit me in the side, and it really hurt. I had taken a lot of damage, but fortunately, I was regenerating a lot faster than normal. This must be the power I got from Warpo, mutant regeneration.
So what if you can survive more of my attacks? I'll still cut you down to size.
Irma was a tough opponent, and even my mutant green energy blast wasn't able to scratch his powerful crab shell.
My brother used to practice his mutant powers on me all the time, so I've become resistant to it. You're nowhere near as strong as he is.
I only had one weapon left, and I needed to use it as a distraction. I blasted him with an endurophage rocket. It didn't beat him, but it hurt him enough that I had time to escape. Meanwhile, Dr. Invertebrain was fighting a bunch of Geonox in a place that I had never been before. It turned out there was more than one power transfer stone in the world, and he was going to get the other one.
I should have done this a long time ago. Once I acquire the second power transfer stone, I'll outfit my idol with even greater crystal eyes, so I can transfer power from anywhere. Mwahaha!
On days 58 to 62, I returned to find out that my base now looked almost exactly like the old Duchy of Dragons. The fire dragons in Tibernius had been rebuilding it into a brand new capital city for the dragons, since the previous one was destroyed. I decided to join in and build a statue that would make this new home even more special for all the dragons living here. It would surely be the talk of the base when it was complete. For now, it didn't look much like it would turn out to be. I also decided to place a bunch of fire pits to keep the base well lit, even when it was dark outside. That way, no one could get lost in the dark. I went to the training area and saw that it needed more weapons, so I built a bunch of iron swords for everyone to use and handed them over to Tibernius.
These are some exceptional swords, Zozo. I will make sure that they are in the hands of exceptional warriors. Back to training, everyone.
After all that crafting, I was running low on iron, so I returned to the mines and went searching for some more. While I was at it, I also mined for diamonds. The diamond ore was less common than the iron ore, but with enough effort, I was able to find some. At the end of the day, I had enough diamonds to craft a diamond helmet and diamond chestplate. On days 63 to 66, the blacksmith from the Idolmaker's village showed up at my base. Welcome to the new dragon base, blacksmith. I hope you have some good news to share with me.
I don't just have good news, I have great news. The village has located another source of crystal eyes, and these might be the purest form that we have ever found.
No way, that's incredible! If we can get those, then I'll be able to transfer Dr. Invertebrain's evil mutant powers to me and use them for good.
That's why I told you first. You were so nice when you came to visit the village. I thought we would lend you a hand in your quest.
Thank you so much. Will you lead me to where I can find the crystal eyes?
Of course, Zozo. Follow me.
We traveled away from the base for a couple days until we found the entrance to the crystal mine. The crystal eyes that we needed for the idol would be inside there, but it looked like it was guarded by some really big Geonox. Oh man, these guys guard everything cool. And if I remember right, they don't take much damage from mutant energy attacks.
Well, at least you know where it is now. We can come back when you are ready to take them on.
You're right. For now, we should be grateful that Dr. Invertebrain doesn't know where this is. On days 67 to 70, an old dragon friend came to see me at the base. It was Rusty. After all this time, he hadn't forgotten how we worked together to escape from those evil bar guests.
Zozo, it looks like you've gotten even more powerful since the last time I saw you.
You're looking very well too, Rusty.
I came by because another enemy is giving me trouble. I was hoping you could stand up to the mob so I could be safe. You know, like the last time we worked together.
Sure, Rusty. Anything for a friend. I followed Rusty back home to his farm, where a tremor elemental was destroying the fields.
That's the guy, Zozo. Go get him.
All right, Rusty, you wait inside. I'll handle this. I approached the tremor and tried a diplomatic approach to hopefully resolve the situation. But the tremor didn't listen. It just started attacking me instead. Have it your way then. I shot a blast of green energy at the tremor, stunning him in place. It seemed like my powers were growing even stronger. The tremor was helpless, so instead of defeating him, I spared him. You're not going to cause my friend Rusty any more trouble, but I do have a job for you, since you are an Earth Elemental. If you can talk to the big Geonox and have them let me into the Crystal Eye Mines, I'll treat you like a friend from now on. The tremor agreed, and because of that, I had a way into the Crystal Eye Mines when the time came, and that time would be arriving sooner than expected. On days 71 to 74, Irma had made his way to the base and was smashing down the dragons' houses. It was like the destruction of the duchy all over again. I can't let this happen to my dragon friends. Irma, you've gone too far.
Ooh, I'm shaking. Actually, no, I'm dancing. I'm dancing with joy because it's so much fun to stomp on your dragons.
My mutant powers wouldn't be that effective, so I focused on hitting it with my sword attacks and dodging his pincers using my wing boost. I had my regeneration, but even that wouldn't let me stay in the fight for long.
Nice try, Zozo, but you're not even half of the mutant my brother is. If I wanted to, I could end this right here, but instead, I'll just take your little power transfer stone.
With that, he hit me again and took the power transfer stone right out of my inventory. Give that back, Irma!
Oh, what are you gonna do about it? See you later, Zozo. My brother sends his regards.
Irma Crab walked out of the base and was gone. The feeling of defeat almost broke my heart, but I decided not to give up hope. I built back the parts of the base Irma destroyed and equipped the walls with cannons in case he returned. The time would soon arrive when the dragons would have to face not just Irma, but our real enemy, the evil mutant Dr. Invertebrain. Speaking of that dastardly villain, he had found the village of the Idolcrafters and was using his greater mutant powers to threaten them into revealing the location of the pure crystal eyes.
By now, my brother has successfully taken the first of the power transfer stones from Zozo. Once I get the purest crystal eyes, my idol will be able to take the power not only from Zozo, but from every mutant in the world. I will become the ultimate mutant just as I had planned to!
On days 75 to 78, Duke Zed announced that he and the Fire Dragon would be leaving to go back into hiding. I tried to persuade him to stay at the base where it was safe. Why do you have to leave, Zed? This base could be a new home for all dragonkind. Everyone worked so hard on it.
There is no point in staying here when Dr. Invertebrain could show up and destroy it, just like he did to our original home. Now that his brother Irma has the other power transfer stone, it is only a matter of time before he steals your power and becomes too powerful to stop.
What if I could take the stone back from Irma before he gives it to the doctor? I know that I failed before, but I refuse to give up when everybody needs me.
Very well, young dragon. I had always had high hopes for you and your courage has inspired me. Take this dragon orb. It will enhance your powers enough that you might be able to take the power transfer stone back.
Duke handed me a dragon orb, and I could feel the magic giving me a new level of power. But it didn't feel the same as my mutant powers. When you said powers, did you mean my mutant powers?
I mean your dragon powers. You were born to be the next Duke of Dragons. Hibernius saw that potential in you, and I am choosing to believe in it again. Go now and fight to save dragonkind.
I will, Duke Zed. Thank you for giving me the strength to fight. I left the base with the dragon orb and followed the tracks that Irma left behind. On days 79 to 84, I found Irma's base. It looked like a coliseum, and from the looks of things, Dr. Invertebrain hadn't shown up here yet, so there was still a chance that I could take back the power transfer stone. Irma, I'm here to fight you and take back the power transfer stone.
Haven't you learned your lesson? Like I said before, you're not half the mutant my brother is.
That may be true, but I'm more of a dragon than either of you, and Duke Zed gave me the dragon orb so I could win.
So that was Zed's plan. Let's see how it goes.
Even with the power of the dragon orb, Irma was incredibly tough. My attacks could damage him, but I still couldn't rely on my mutant powers. I flew up and dive bombed him from above, but it was no use. Even if I had more anti-aerophage rockets, the battle was still going against me.
Time to call it quits, Zozo.
Irma swung its pincer at me. My regeneration wasn't fast enough. It looked like it was going to be lights out.
Not so fast.
When all hope was lost, Tibernius showed up and covered the arena in smoke. Thanks to that, we were able to sneak away. But Irma managed to hit Tibernius in the smoke. Tibernius, you're hurt.
Don't worry about me, Zozo. I have something you might want.
He gave me a power transfer stone.
I've always wondered what would happen if a non-mutant tried to transfer power through it. What do you say, Zozo? Will you accept my fire powers?
Of course! Let's fry this crab! I used the power transfer stone and sent all of the fire powers of a sunbird into me. Now I could breathe fire, just like a dragon. I was now larger, stronger, and capable of shooting strong flames. My hearts even doubled. You're toast, Irma!
Brother, I have failed you. No!
With Tibernius's powers, I defeated the crab and was able to keep the stone. On days 85 to 89, I collected more materials on the way back to the base. I could use these to complete the statue that I was planning to build for the dragons. I made it home and immediately put the finishing touches on it. It was a statue of a mighty fire dragon, a sign of strength, and a show of respect for all of the fire dragons that had moved on from this world so far. Of course, there was still the matter of defeating Invertebrain. With the help of the Tremor Elemental, I was able to talk my way past the giant Geonox and enter the mine with the crystal eyes. I went deep into the mine shaft where the villagers told me the purest crystal eye could be found. This mine was deeper and shinier than any I had ever been in, but because the crystal eyes were inside, I bravely made my way further in. When I made it to the chamber of the crystal eyes, I found a chest guarded by a giant lurker. The powerful enemy ran at me on sight and tried to bite me, but I was in my most powerful form now. I defeated it with a single blast from my fire breath and claimed the crystal eyes for myself. As I grabbed it though, I was temporarily poisoned due to the chest being trapped. On days 90 to 94, I returned to the entrance of the Crystal Eye Mine and found that Dr. Invertebrain was waiting for me. Of course, you were after the Crystal Eyes too. I should have known.
And thanks to you, I don't have to bother getting past those Geonox guardians. Seems like you are helping me again, Zozo. Just like old times.
I will never help you again, Dr. Invertebrain. You betrayed me. I got those crystal eyes for one reason, to defeat you and save the dragons from your reign of destruction.
It wasn't me who betrayed you. You were the one who betrayed me. All you had to do was give up your mutant powers and you could live freely. But you sided with the dragons instead. And then you destroyed my brother. This is a warning, Zozo. Hand over the crystal eyes, and I will spare you after I take your powers. Disobey me, and I will wipe out both you and all the dragons, including Duke Zed.
I'm not afraid of you. I may not be as mutated as you, but I have Tibernius's fire powers and the dragon orb. I am everything that my friends made me. I will win.
So be it. This is your destruction!
Invertebrain used his strongest mutant powers against me, and it was even more than the level of power he was using when he destroyed the Duchy of Dragons. Back then, a single attack would have knocked me out in one hit, and even though I was stronger, the damage was still too much to handle. He knocked me down with a blast of mutant energy, and while I was stunned, took the crystal eyes away from me. How can you still be this strong?
How can you still be that weak? Whoa! Pitiful dragon, you will soon know what it means to be the only one of your kind, after I steal your mutant powers, that is.
Dr. Invertebrain got away with the crystal eyes. Even now, I was powerless to stop him. The hole he left behind was giant. On days 95 to 97, I was able to call upon enough mutant power to fly out of the hole that Dr. Invertebrain had trapped me in. Since I still had my powers, I knew that there was time to warn the others. Instead of heading to the base, I remembered what Zed told me and went to the underground to find him. If anyone could back me up in my next fight against the evil doctor, it had to be the Duke of Dragons. When I made it to where the fire dragons had been hiding out, I saw that I had been too late. Dr. Invertebrain had already found the dragon's secret base and attacked them. The dragons were injured, and it looked like many of them wouldn't make it.
Zozo, is that you? Zed is over that way, and he doesn't have much time either. You must talk to him before he goes.
I nodded and made my way to where Zed was lying down, dying. It was a sad sight to see the Duke of Dragons like that. Zed, I'm here. I'm so sorry. If you had the dragon orb, maybe this wouldn't have—
It's okay, young dragon. I always knew you were the only one who could stop our greatest nemesis, Invertebrain. He always planned to use the mutant power inside of you to conquer the world. And that is why he stole your egg from us before you hatched.
How do you know that, Zed? I didn't know where I came from before I hatched.
I remember your egg, a mutant dragon egg. It was different from the others, but still a dragon. Still my son, the next Duke of Dragons.
Zed, you're my dad?
Yes, young dragon. And when I'm gone, you will be crowned the Duke of Dragons. Take care of them, my son.
Zed was gone. I now knew everything. Invertebrain tried to raise me as his own, so he could someday take my powers away. But everything he tried had failed. The mutant he tried to steal would now become the dragon who defeated him. On day 98, I made it back to the base and found it in ruins. It seemed that Dr. Invertebrain had kept his wicked promise and wiped out the dragons. the fire dragons, the ones from the duchy, and even Rusty. Every last one of them had been destroyed. It was horrible. On some level, I felt like it was all my fault, and the guilt of not being able to save them weighed heavily on me. Was this your plan, Invertebrain? To take everyone I cared about away, so I wouldn't have anything left to fight for? It was only a matter of time until my powers were transferred to Dr. Invertebrain. He would get to that island with the idol, and then I wouldn't stand a chance against him. This is hopeless.
There is always hope, Zozo. Your father believed this.
Tibernius!
Look at me, Zozo. I gave my fire powers to you because I believed in you. And even in my powerless form, I still believe in you.
What can we do? He was always stronger than me, and even if I win, I can't bring everyone back.
Perhaps you can. Remember what powers you have now. If you have the pure crystal eyes, you'll be able to transfer power into yourself, but also to others.
Of course. If I transfer your firepower to the dragons, along with my regeneration, the combined power could revive them.
There's only one way to find out. Let's take those crystal eyes back.
Together, Tibernius and I vowed to do just that. On day 99, I raced to the Idol Island to confront Dr. Invertebrain. The 2 power transfer stones and crystal eyes were floating next to the idol, and he was about to combine them. I dive-bombed over and grabbed the crystal eyes and power stones from the magic stones they were on.
Zozo, you dare disobey me again?
I dare. You thought you could crush my spirit, but like I've said time and time again, I don't give up.
You're not thinking straight, that's why. Only I have the brains to rule this world. You should have just let me do the thinking.
Your thinking stinks, Doc. I'm going to fix the damage you've done. I flew high into the sky with the crystal eyes and power transfer stones, then glided over the water to land on the mainland shore. There was no way that crab could catch up to me now. I zoomed back to the base and placed those pure crystal eyes next to the idol that I had built many days ago. Then I flipped a switch to combine them. Please work, please work! I let my powers go, and they flowed into the machine to be given to all of my fallen dragon friends. The fires within the dragons began to reignite, and they regenerated back to life. Rusty was the first to show up. He ran over to me and jumped for joy.
I'm saved. You did it, Zozo. Giving us your mutant regeneration power saved us.
Don't forget the firepower too, courtesy of Tibernius.
You better believe I won't forget it. I feel all warm inside and fired up. Put an end to that Dr. Invertebrain once and for all.
Thanks, Rusty. I'll make sure to defeat that Brainiac once and for all, and make the land safe for all mutants and dragons alike. On day 100, Dr. Invertebrain looked up to the sky and saw me flying towards him.
What? What are you doing back here?
After saving all of the dragons by sharing my power with them, I've come back to finish this. You're going down, Brainiac.
Curse you, Zozo! If you think you can beat me now, I promise you that you are still too weak.
Maybe alone I was, but not with everyone having my back. All of my friends believe in me, and I refuse to give up or let them down. I attacked and blasted Dr. Invertebrain with my flame. That wore him down enough that I could face him in close-quarter combat. We battled, mutant against mutant, hitting each other with all we had. He was strong and evil, but I didn't let up for even a moment. You tried to control me, to take everything from me. But now, I will defy you again, and it'll be the last time you order me around.
Zozo, think about what you are doing.
I fired up one final blast of my remaining fire mutant energy and destroyed him!
No!
The battle was over. Now the rebuilding of the Dragon Duchy could begin, and all mutant and dragon kind could finally live in peace and harmony. I may have been born a mutant, but because of my heart, everyone was now free to be who they truly are.